Morning, everyone. This is Shauna, and I'm late with this installment of the Bob and Nikki series. This is book 18. Home is where the heat is. I'm working on hopefully the next two, and I should be able to get those out by hopefully the middle of May. But without further ado, let's cover book 18. Let me show you the cover of the Kindle book at this time. So this is our cover. Home is where the heat is. Here we see Topper with his guitar. And there's several concerts in this book, in this installment, where um, the the crew is trying to improve relationships on Earth. Bob and Nikki at the end of the last book were on the run away from Earth. They end up having a brief stint on Charlie's planet to kind of rest and recoup and take the vacation that they should have taken the whole time. But then what happens is they start getting the refits from the shipyard because Stella has been working on the refits. And so we have some R&R happening while that's going on. But the Joint Chiefs of Staff shows up in Bob's establishment looking for a repair to his saucer. But Bob is somewhat suspicious because some of the people with him don't seem to have the information. Actually, they seem to have more information than the chief, than the general. And that seems suspicious to Bob. Like either you've got some really flunky people around you who know more than you do and want to play it off on you, or you've got some sort of loyalty situation happening. But Bob agrees to repair the saucer. The joint chiefs, they don't call Bob, they just have somebody show up there. So Bob agrees to take it, thinking it's going to be just another repair. But at Topper's request, Steve goes over the ship that the general flew in on, and Steve finds 15 pounds of C4 and blasting caps. So it's clear that somebody wants to blow them out of the holler and get the group out of this place. This is going to be a recurring theme in this volume. So you have a lot of instances of military force, of some sabotage attempts. You have a lot of that going on. So if you like the military side of things, and I mean, it doesn't get deeply into it. It's not a deeply intricate book. This is a space opera after all. So you see the machinations, you have the attacks, but they're not the deep sort of detail that you might be used to from, say, a Tom Clancy book, or a spy thriller of some kind. That's not what this is. Then we have another man. There's a National Guard patrol that comes, the Missouri National Guard patrol, that comes to Bob's house. Now they're back on Earth, and there's a Missouri National Guard patrol that shows up. Turns out the colonel that's leading their patrol knows Bob from way back, and they tried to attack him. The orders they had were bogus orders, but of course they had no way of knowing that. But they came directly from the president. So from this point of view, we now have this thickening plot where at the end of the last book, the president promised them peace in their holler, in exchange for not bothering Earth with their tech and sort of making things worse. And so Bob is really confused at this point, like what's going on and who's telling the truth. Is the general the traitor? Is the president the traitor? What's happening with that? And that's going to be, again, another recurring issue in the book that happens. But they managed to intercept that. And then we, on a more personal family front, we have Bob's family. Janet has been with them, and she doesn't have a true birthday. So so Bob and Nikki decide on a birthday for her, and her birthday is coming. So the crew give her a fire engine red MGB for her birthday as a 16-year-old. And we get some time devoted to that and that instance. And then we have more attacks. I didn't put all of these attacks in my notes, but there's more attacks, including a nuclear missile attack that the team intercepts. And there's a whole the Joint Chief knows nothing about any of these attacks. Bob had been attacked at the license office. There was a sniper when he went to take Janet for her test. Now there's a nuclear attack on the fleet, which the fleet manages to intercept so nobody gets hurt. And then there's a situation where this is where the concerts come in. They decide, well, maybe the Earth would be better if they had a better relationship with bots. So Topper and the Allbutt brothers do a concert, and it crashes the internet. So Bob and his crew single-handedly keep the internet running. They take away the president's access to the nuclear arsenal, making Bob the de facto person in charge of the nuclear arsenal. And Bob, the people around him are encouraging him to declare Saucer Hall or some sort of embassy protectorate. They want him to declare himself a sovereign entity, and Bob is not into doing that. He doesn't want that kind of power, and he doesn't want to create that kind of division within the planet that he grew up on. So he refuses. But eventually what happens is you start seeing more damage. There was a shop owner across the street from the license office whose shop got shot up in the sniper attack. So Bob goes to make peace with him, recruits him for the Gene's crew, and then they finally do get the saucer that the Joint Chief had flown back into, back to the base where they are, and they take him to the Bob agrees to fly it back in person, even though he knows he's going to be a target. But it turns out that the payment they give him, because Bob had asked for the payment in gold, the payment they give him is tainted with a contact poison. All of the gold coins are wrapped in individual baggies, and each of the coins is topped with a contact poison. So there was a bomb in the briefcase and a contact poison. So Bob is really sick of them. But on the way back from the Air Force Base, they see the bomb, so they have to set down. They set down in this farmer's field, and the farmer has a sick wife. He wants to be able to put his wife in the auto dock. So Bob does that for them, but then tells them that they have to, keep quiet or come with me. And so the guy agrees right there on the spot that he's just gonna throw in his lot with Bob, go to another planet that he's never been to, and start a new life. And while I guess that could happen, this is where a little bit of the implausibility comes. But again, space opera stuff. So suspension of disbelief kind of thing. But he does get recruited. His name is Ralph Emerson. We don't see much more of him in the book other than getting him acclimated to the ship. The next thing that happens that sort of advances the main plot line is that Bob gets back to Susserholland, and Greg and Jimmy have found a wooden still in a cave, the whiskey still that belonged to Bob's grandfather, Haley. And so Bob calls out the minister, Jacob Crane, to do a service for him. And they have a nice service for Bob Haley. And there's a whole subplot in there about how concerned everybody is about Bob and how his mom is going to feel, because remember, his mom is dead set against Bob still. As much as she loves him, she's dead set that he's sort of the cause of all of these shenanigans. And so you see also throughout the book, you see this back and forth kind of tension, because he wants to stay on the planet where he grew up and where he spent so much of his life, and yet he feels like he's the source and the instigator of all of this angst. So he eventually decides, after another escalation in the attacks, that their only recourse is to leave the planet and hope that political stability will resume. There is one last cookout that Bob has, and several more people have joined the company at that time. So this is where we are at the end of book 18. And I think the strengths of this book are in its political scenes. Those aren't the ones that I enjoy the most, but you can totally see the tension building up. And that I appreciate it for. I appreciate the breadth of where this book is going. And I really, you really start to see, whereas in book 17, you saw the bot's capacity to sort of have leadership of the ship. In this book, you see a lot of fleet expertise from the bots. You see a lot of initiative pushing, and you see the crew expanding. So in future books, I look forward to seeing the ramifications of that crew expansion and just how the bots are going to continue to evolve and to get the ship out of tough situations. But that's about it for this week. Hopefully, I'll be back soon with another installment. I have book 19 on the go right now, so hopefully I'll be able to push another installment before the week is out. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.